There are co-op games, and then there are LEGO co-op games. And in this special preview, Livid and myself had to check out the newest and upcoming brick building adventure. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and this is our hands-on preview with LEGO Voyagers. Guys, it's not often we get the chance to talk about a LEGO game, but when we do, you better believe it's something that resonates with our team, a co-op adventure platformer with serious puzzle elements and in this case, some genuinely lighthearted moments. Our preview covered the first 30 minutes of Voyagers, which is not a lot of time, and if the trailer footage you're looking at now is any indication, there are some truly wild things you'll end up doing in this game, but that wasn't our experience within the first few chapters. Instead, we spent a lot of time getting our bearings and mastering some of the basic controls of the game, because despite being a video game, something Livid and I think we're pretty good at, it certainly took us some getting used to. Voyagers is built on a simple story of friendship. You and a co-op partner, either online or local, take control of red brick and blue brick, individual one-by-one bricks that you control independently. You're both fascinated with space, and during the first few minutes of the game, you explore your small base, which has a number of space-themed activities scattered about. Your island is in the shadow of a rocket launch, and after you mess around for a little bit, you kick off the adventure by watching the shuttle in the distance take off, an event your bricks are clearly excited about. What happens next is a bit surprising because unlike other casual co-op games, Voyagers gives you absolutely no direction as to what happens next. It's very clear a new pathway is opened up, but Livid and I spent the next 5 to 10 minutes just exploring what was actually possible within the world. These early bits of the game are surprisingly dense in terms of their construction, and at almost every moment we both felt like we were missing something that was clearly right under our nose. One great example is during this small section with a big pipe. There were clearly 4 pressure plates that we think needed to be pressed down at the exact same time to unlock some kind of secret, but at the same time we weren't quite sure it was anything at all. That experience followed us for the entire 30-minute preview. And while it was actually quite refreshing, it was also a bit maddening, feeling like we were missing a core element of the gameplay. I don't think we were, and after combing through trailers that showcased later parts of the game, we were still clearly in the learning phase portion of Voyagers. But the world just begged to be explored, and you could tell the developers were flirting with secrets at almost every turn. What's most notable about our time with the game was the movement, platforming, and brick building, which we got a taste of during this early preview. Although the challenges were minor, we still got a sense for how both players would have to work together to overcome environmental challenges. In some cases, we'd have to build a simple bridge, using pieces from one side of the gap to span to the other. In other cases, we'd have to operate simple levers to hurl our partner across a wider expanse to reach the other side. In some ways, it felt a lot like It Takes Two or Split Fiction, two of our favorite co-op games, but still also uniquely LEGO, which was enjoyable. The game perfectly captures what it means to play with Legos, the carefree, almost zen-like experience of just exploring how the bricks all work together. Voyagers obviously channels that energy with more exploration and adventure, but you better believe we took every opportunity to see how our tiny bricks interacted with every aspect of the world, big or small. There are simple things, like anchoring onto something, then using a slight shift in your position to shoot off at an angle with just enough momentum to reach your destination that becomes second nature. those are the smaller set pieces that are present at almost every area, but there are much larger set pieces that require you to stop and really think about how to reach the next section of the world. One great example is when we had access to a number of purple pieces that we could link together in a sort of awkward stick-like structure. It made absolutely no sense, but it was also the only way we could successfully scale a series of steps. Was it pretty? Absolutely not, and there might have been another solution that was a bit more graceful, but in the heat of the moment, it worked. What the gameplay you're watching won't actually reveal is the sincere moments of joy that Livid and myself shared. And while that sounds a bit corny, you have to remember that these co-op games are designed with a tandem in mind. For instance, watching Livid try to vigorously pop every mushroom he saw almost always got a small chuckle out of me, but it's those small moments that build up over the course of a game, or in this case, just 30 minutes that are at the very heart of what it means to play these types of co-op games. Sadly, what is missing, at least during this short preview window, was the sense of story. It's a great premise, especially for a non-verbal game, but there was definitely moments where the environment could have played a bigger part in telling an overarching story. It starts off strong with this sense of wonder for space and exploration, but then the next 30 minutes just have you exploring a relatively boring set of island-themed brick environments. There are small moments similar to that of It Takes Two or Split Fiction, where you and your co-op partner unlock achievements by taking a minute to interact with small immersive elements that are meant to be reflective. But they don't have the same punch as they do in those other games because there's really nothing to guide you other than the obvious goal of moving forward. That being said, it is impossible to render full judgment on the game after just 30 minutes, and like I said before, the gameplay trailers released for the game certainly showcase a lot more depth in regards to the adventure and the exploration. The last thing I wanted to touch on is the building, because despite most of the experience being about the platforming and the problem solving, there is an element of building in this game that is clearly going to be central to the overall experience. We only got a taste of what Voyagers building is going to look like, but it works like this. While in free roam mode, you can move around, jump, and even snap to any Lego brick with a singular pylon. Once you snap, you enter a sort of grid mode that is much more rigid but allows you more precise control of your movements, which is pretty important once you start interacting with bricks for building. It's actually really hilarious snapping to a brick and then staying in free roam mode because your movement physics completely change. But once you get into your position, you can snap right back into the grid for that more precise control. Most of the early building is simple and forgiving, either building bridges or steps to reach slightly elevated locations. But you can see the potential with the system, and again, referencing the trailers, you can see the building evolves quite a bit. What ends up being a relatively wholesome experience is trying to build with your co-op partner. Because you're both physically in the world, you end up having to communicate and work together to coordinate your pieces, or you just end up getting in each other's way. Again, it's a small, simple thing, but speaks to the very nature of this type of game. Now, when combining all of the things, the exploration, the platforming, the puzzle solving, and the building, I certainly think you have the makings of a good game, unique if nothing else. This particular genre, co-op adventure, has such a high bar thanks to other games like It Takes Two and Split Fiction that I'm sure a game like LEGO Voyagers is taking inspiration from those. In fact, I know that's the case because those immersive environmental moments are almost pulled directly from the Hazelight Studios playbook. But I think that's okay, because the LEGO aspects of this game are so unique that I think if the experience is layered the right way, it could end up being a really fun under-the-radar release 2025. That being said, it's impossible to say for certain at this point, and like I mentioned, we only got a small preview of the game. Now, we do expect the full review build to hit our inbox at some point ahead of the game's September 15th release date, but if nothing else, I do want to mention that LEGO Voyagers features a Friends Pass system, which means only one of the two players needs to actually own the game, another system made popular by Hazelight Studios. It's a fantastic decision if you ask me, and just encourages people to check out the game without requiring them to break the bank to do so. Guys, we hope you found this preview of LEGO Voyagers helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, or better yet, check out our official Legacy Gaming Discord, where you can interact with me, Livid, and of course, the rest of the community. As always, if you appreciate the work that goes into making these videos, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, and consider subscribing. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.